I'll make sure nothing falls out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah.
Do it with me. Come on up. All right, everybody. Night number 4. How many blessings? 2. Fantastic. Hello to everyone watching at home. It is the 4th night of Hanukkah, and we're going to recite the 2 blessings together now. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim la'avoteinu vayamim hahem b'zman hazeh. So tonight we read selections from the book of Maccabees, the first book, which we believe is the most historical. And based on what we talked about so far tonight, what was the miracle of Hanukkah? I heard part of an answer. That the Maccabees won. That this small family of Jews defeated the Greco-Syrian army who tried to forcibly assimilate the Jewish people. Can you think of another miracle of Hanukkah from what we read tonight so far? Yeah. That the Jews have survived for another 2,000 plus years to today. Another miracle could be that there was not a Jewish civil war so that we destroyed each other. The Jews who wanted to assimilate versus the Jews who didn't. But there's a text we didn't get to yet, written about 500 years ago in a compilation of Jewish law called the Shulchan Aruch that tells of a different miracle of Hanukkah. The one that we often read in storybooks because we don't always like to talk about bloody battles and wars. What's that miracle of Hanukkah? Shane? That when the Maccabees and their friends came to clean up the temple that had been defiled, they found a small jug of consecrated oil. So it was olive oil, but not just any olive oil. Olive oil that was deemed appropriate to use for sacred purposes in the menorot, in the temple that had 7 branches. So the 2 that we have up here are supposed to imitate those 2 candelabras that stood in the temple. And there was only enough oil in this small jug for one night. And this story tells us that, lo and behold, miracle of miracles, there was enough oil for 8 nights. Which miracle do you resonate with more? JJ. The first one. Why? The historical one. So JJ is not wrong that the oil story seems out of place with the historical story. So, but we're going to talk, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. Yeah, Lucy? So in the historical account, the focus is on the people and their accomplishments, and the miracle of oil focuses on whom? God. So there's different emphases. Who's the hero of the story? Depends on the miracle that you talk about. Rachel, what do you want to share? The same idea? Mm. Mm-hmm. So you have the historical miracle, but you have the spiritual miracle of the oil. That just as there was only enough oil for one night, but it lasted longer than that, and you might have thought that the story for the Jewish people was coming to a close, but we lasted longer than that, that's a really powerful message. So you don't have to believe that the miracle of oil actually happened to find meaning in it. It could very well be that it's a metaphor. It's a symbol of our own persistence. It reminds us to put God back in the story. The rabbis are always doing that. Purim also. God is never mentioned in the book of Esther, but the rabbis put God back into the Purim story because don't we owe all of our success and all of our blessing to God? And so the miracle of oil reminds us to do that. It also makes for much yummier food to eat on Hanukkah that we have the miracle of oil story. And the historical story, the historical miracle is complicated to talk about. It was bloody. It was rough. It was a couple of years where we weren't sure we were going to make it. And those are harder stories to talk about. But now that you're all of an age where we can have those conversations, we saw some of the uglier sides of the Hanukkah story. And the important thing is that we keep reading it and we keep telling it, we keep talking about it, and that every year around this time, we light a Chanukiah, Hanukkah menorah, to remember all the aspects of the story, to remember that it's important to have these difficult conversations, and to remember aspects of our past that we may not be proud of, because the Maccabees' legacy is not necessarily one that I want to shout from the rooftops. But every year we bring light at a time of darkness. And that's a really powerful image and a powerful ritual that we share with other religions in the world. So this Hanukkah, I hope that you not only enjoy the light for yourselves, but that you share it with someone else. And that you share this Hanukkah story with those you love. Maybe teach your family something new that you learned tonight. And have a wonderful festival of lights. And if you can join us on Friday night, we have 6 o'clock fried chicken and latkes, followed by 7 o'clock rock Shabbat service, followed by 8 o'clock ugly Hanukkah sweater party led by Bikti, visual aid here. And because it wouldn't be Hanukkah without a little something sweet, I apologize to Mia and Rachel in advance. We have sufganiyot, we have donuts for snack, but I can go rustle up some chocolate for our gluten-free friends. All right, Chag Sameach.